Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OSU World Cup Semifinals, Australia versus Canada. And against all odds, this matchup is happening in the winner's bracket. We have had 4 matches so far, 2 tiebreakers, and this is another one that I think a lot of people expect to be close. I am iFlame, joined today by the one and only Mavs. Talk to me about this Australian roster.
Yeah, this Australian roster today. Thank you very much for the introduction, iFlame, and here we are. I mean, man, yeah, like you said, what a matchup to see in the upper bracket. I think a lot of people, I think almost every person actually, like 99% of viewers expected US versus Poland on the screen right now in this winner bracket. But here we are at seed 7 up against seed 11, Australia, Canada, and this Australian roster. Yeah, like you said, a bunch of rookies this year. 5 new rookies to be exact, and the 6th being Secret Box, who of course didn't play last year, but so he isn't a rookie, but back again for the roster. And man, I mean, if you've been watching this Australian team play, a lot of these up-and-coming rookies here, Sayo, JGLF, Zintex, a lot of these players have been doing phenomenally in the bracket stages so far. I'm very excited to see what they could do here for us today.
On the Canadian team, we have, of course, his kitten, known by some as Zoodinator. Nothing more needs to be said there. But we also have Ryuke and Xylus, the 2 speed players for Canada that looked really good for them on the DT last week. You have Stoof to fill in some of that speed, Hard Rock, Curtis to round out that speed, and Yip and Vesprit, fantastic fail players. But stealing the spotlight last week was, of course, Cut Paper. Number 1 individual performance by a whole lot. 0.3 match cost ahead of the second best in MREC. And 920,000 average score. One of the most dominant quarterfinals performances we have ever seen in OWC. So we're going to have to see if Cut Paper can keep it up this weekend and continue this absurd performance.
Yeah, can Cut Paper actually bring this performance through to the semis is my question, because of course we've seen him performing extremely well in not just quarterfinals, but it was also round of 16, right? Like, he was playing extremely well for Canada, and you expect one of those rookies on the team not to be, playing like the star player, but he has been doing that. So it's going to be interesting to see maybe the pool difficulty starting to, maybe if that's going to affect his performance whatsoever. But we'll see going forward into this one. I think obviously Australia's rookies also performing very admirably throughout these pools, and as the pools get harder, I don't think any of these Australian rookies are going to start to get skill capped anytime soon. But here we are into the bands, and of course I think we're going to be expecting Australia to take out Reading, and there goes the hidden 2. The low approach rate Kuru map is going to be gone, so that is an expected ban. And no, there goes Blue Zenith, as we were talking about in the pre-match. It's gone. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Canada, their one arguable weakness is that Hard Rock. Australia is kind of the tapping roster left in the tournament. They have been the team that is so dominant on all of these tapping picks, and so Canada going to get rid of tapping Hard Rock as well as that tapping-focused DT. Australia is going to ban out the free mod 2 with their last ban. That is going to be the alt free mod, and Canada has been one of the best free mod teams in the tournament, with Zudi being able to take Hidden Hard Rock on just about everything, and they've been one of the few teams to successfully overmod in these past few weekends. We are now waiting for the first pick on Canada. I think there's a good chance that it's going to be either one of the Hiddens or one of the remaining Reading picks, but that kind of other Reading-ish pick, that lower AR pick, is the DT4 this time around, which I'm not sure they want to pick into Australia.
Yeah, the DT4, although I don't think it would be a bad pick for Canada by any means. It's still something that they're going to be very strong on, but this Australian roster this year, Australia's always been historically a fairly weak Reading team in the World Cup, and if you were paying any attention to 4WC this year, you could see some of the up-and-comers on that 4WC roster, O/and JGLF notably, that were performing ridiculously well on a lot of reading. And here they are on the Australian OWC roster, but not just them. You've also got Sio on this roster. You've got Box coming back to the roster. So some of these Australian players are very, very good on dense maps, on reading maps in general. So not a weakness that I think Canada is going to be able to target as well as they could have in previous years, but still something I think they'll definitely try and give Australia a run for. And I still think they're favored on it, of course, but they're going to be kicking things off with a reading map, and it is going to be the free mod 4. It's going to be Sig here.
Not your typical anti-mod. This one is going to be CS6, AR 7.5, so especially low AR on the hidden and especially high CS on the circle. This is one of those maps that, as much as Canada has loved to overmod so far, I don't think we're going to see the overmod here. I would be pretty shocked. We should just be seeing one hidden, one hard rock for both teams, and I think they're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I think at the most you would see maybe a double hidden if players have practiced it with hidden, if they don't feel comfortable with the no mod density. But like, I'd still doubt that's even going to happen. A map like this, reading is starting to get very, very difficult as we push into these later stages, and I don't think you're going to be seeing overmods unless you've got multiple just like really high comfort players on hidden, for example, as I was saying. But Free 4 early, I think this is going to be Canada favored, but I would not take Australia out of the picture here. This one on paper, historically, like I was saying, you would think, oh, Canada, easy sweep. But Australia has a very good roster on a map like this. It's not a bad roster. It's not a roster to scoff at. You can see already in the lobby, Dummy always playing these reading picks for Australia in the past, however many years he's played OWC, and you're going to have Sio in the lobby already. You're probably going to be expecting JGLF here too.
I think the one overmod we could potentially see for Canada might just be in for the hard rock in Canada, and at that point the hidden is just comfort. But it's such an interesting matchup because both of these teams have their very clear advantages. Australia has the tapping, the GTs, Canada has the reading, the hiddens, the ults maps. But both teams have players that are very good on those maps as well. We've seen both teams put up really good scores on their opponents' respective skill sets. If you're picking speed tapping into Canada, you still have Ryuke and Xylus to worry about, who are two of the best tapping players in the game. And of course, if you're picking reading into Australia, JGLF is an absolute monster. Now here we go into the free mod 4. It is, of course, JGLF, cut paper on the hidden, and there is the hidden hard rock for Zudi.
Yeah, and I've been looking forward to this, man. You guys were talking about it on the Full Circle podcast. The JGLF versus cut paper on the reading here. The two of the rookies for both of these rosters, and two extremely strong reading players, both on the hidden. So a little bit of a 1v1, but Sio finding an early break. Gonna have Sio here. I'm gonna have the actually overmod. Huge overmod from Australia. Wait, oh my god, what are the overmods? Holy! Is it 2 hidden hard rocks on both sides? Okay, that's just comfort.
Is a shock.
Yeah. That is very crazy to see that many hard rocks on a map like this, but it is going to be Sio and Emrek on the hidden hard rock, Zudi and Ryuke on the hidden hard rock, and then just JG and Cut Paper on those hiddens. But getting into it, we've got a huge overmod, and it is even mods as well, worth mentioning. Sio found that early break, but still almost the 4 FCs here for Canada, just Ryuke with an early miss, and 3 FCs almost here from Australia, JGLF with the early miss.
There goes Cut Paper though, trades one back, and so... well, and Ryuke as well, so now it's going to be advantage over to Australia. Oh, there goes Zudi. Canada's falling apart on this slower section. It is only Yip holding on the Nomad, and Australia is going to bring this one back pretty quickly. Sio does find another miss, but it's still 3 big combos, and Australia is off to the races here as Ryuke finds yet another miss, and this is a short map. They're very quickly running out of time. We are into the streamier section. This is where Australia needs to find the misses, but they are not coming.
Yeah, you really don't want Australia to be finding a breakpoint on reading first thing into the match, but it looks like that's what they're going to do. Emrek does find the break on that hard rock, but they've got the 2 players still without hard rock holding on, and that's not what you want if you're Canada. But there goes JGLF down on the stream pattern. It's just Dummy to hold with a tiny bit of the map remaining. Canada do have the combo advantage, but I just don't think there's time left in the map. Oh, Dummy misses. Oh my god, Dummy missed. Oh, it's coming back. It's 50k. It's flying back. Oh, Canada take it in the last moments!
But yet misses!
No way!
And it goes over the last second. Canada
last second.
holds on to their point. It is Yip this time around on the Nomad, Zudi on the recovery combo to secure that point for Canada. And look at the accuracies just across the board. Those are all really impressive, especially with 4 players on the Hard Rock, all above 98% accuracy.
Oh man, heartbreak strikes for Australia as they take the lead and hold on to it for almost the entire remainder of the map and then lose it in the last 2 seconds. Dummy finding a miss on what I assume was nothing in the ending there and losing out on what, 140k potential score? And that definitely did cost it. It would have been a fantastic breakpoint to kick things off for Australia, but unfortunately it's not meant to be. The script is going to continue as planned as Canada take their first pick, and now you gotta hope and pray Australia take their first pick here, because to lose a breakpoint like that and then lose your first pick here would be pretty gut-wrenching.
And this is where we see it gets scary for both teams, right? Australia has some impressive scores on the free mod 4. Now you're picking the DT1. But Silas Ryuke are some of the best DT1 players out there. Now, I'd certainly favor Australia on the pick, but Canada has plenty of room to take a break point. If we see some misses out of Australia, a secret box will come into the lobby. And to give you an idea of how good these teams are playing, at least for the first map, both of those scores were 1 and 2 respectively for the weekend on free mod 2.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. That just goes to show that, both of these teams, like how phenomenally they performed as well in the quarterfinals. They are just forces to be reckoned with. And I'm curious here what we're going to expect. Of course, Australia is and was the #1 team on the DT1 in qualifiers. They've always historically been an extremely good DT1 team, no matter what roster they've had. I think they were #1 on it last year as well. They've always just been really good on DT1s, but they're going to be getting their roster into the lobby. Emrek, Secret Box, Akenzie X, who performed ridiculously well on DTs last week and was only in for the DTs, is coming in here as well. Curious who their fourth is going to be. It's going to be Zintex, of course.
That means we should just be waiting on Ryuke, that third DT player for Canada. But as you mentioned, Emrek, of course, arguably, maybe not arguably, just the best DT player in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Emrek just kind of the undisputed best aim DT player we've ever seen in the game, and he's in here for DT1. And also worth mentioning, this DT1 is really no tapping involved, a very, very small amount. This is all pretty much just 278 BPM aim. As we get into the DT1 here, I absolutely do think Canada have a chance of breakpointing this, just as much of a chance as I think Australia had breakpointing that free mod 4. So things could get close here, but here we go, kicking things off with Australia's first pick, the DT1. No one finding any trip-ups on the intro. No one finding trouble in adjusting to that AR 10.3.
Stu is going to find the first miss for Canada, so Canada is at an early deficit yet again. We saw them recover once, and they have lots of time to do so now, although it is quite a short map at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So we're going to need to see some misses out of Australia into the key eye sections as everybody continues to hold for the time being. It was just, again, that early miss from Stu, putting Canada behind. And there goes Zudi now. 2 combos down for Canada, none on the side of Australia.
Yeah, that's 4-way. I mean, what do you expect from the Australians on a DT1? They're just a ridiculous farming country, I guess. A lot of very high-ranked players in their roster. And we're seeing 3 of their top 50 players in this roster right now, so skill cap is there. And there goes a double miss for Canada. Curious if that was Bancho. Don't think it was. Silas and Stoof finding the reset, so it's only Ryuke to hold on to the FC up against 4 from Australia. What do you do, man? You're on a sinking ship here at this point. Zintex does find the break, so that's a little bit of room here for Canada, but it's not much.
There goes another one. Secret box down, but it's not going to be nearly enough. It is currently Ryuke against the world, and you're facing down Emrek. There goes AK NZX. But with Emrek still holding, once again, the best DT aim player in the game. You do not want to be relying on a miss from Emrek to make the comeback. especially down by 450,000. I just don't think there's time left for Canada. Stu finds another miss, and Australia are going to be taking this point back, making it 1-1. All tied up now.
Yeah, we're definitely some openings in the door there for Canada with that performance from Australia, finding like 3 misses only just after the halfway mark. Definitely, I think they would expect to get multiple FCs on this map, but regardless, it's going to be 3 huge huge supporting scores regardless. So this score from Australia is still extremely, extremely good, 3.36 million. And Canada doing their best to contest on the DT1. I would say probably a slight underperformance from them as well, but at the end of it all, Australia do take that one pretty convincingly. And that's a good start to the match for them, taking their first pick a lot more convincingly than Canada took theirs.
And Mavs, once again, based on the teams that have played DT1 so far this weekend, Australia, Canada, number 1 and number 2. These two teams are just on fire.
My. That's surprising, but I mean, they do have great scores, but it's just from what we've been seeing from this Australian roster, we've been seeing 4 million scores on these DT1s, so that is a big surprise to me, but there you have it. Australia and Canada performing just ridiculously well on that DT1 according to overall statistics, so that is a great first pick done.
A little bit behind, actually. So Canada, it is Australia at number 1, but Poland did have a really solid score.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Not quite, but very close. Either way, these two teams playing well. Canada has the next pick. They do still have both the Hidden 1 and the Hidden 3 open. Now, Hidden, Canada has had the number 1 Hidden 1 and 3 scores the last 2 weekends, but this time around, it's a tapping, focused, speed Hidden 3. And that plays right into Australia's favor. And I think, for once, we're going to see Canada avoiding that HD3. They're going to go for the Hidden 1 instead, and they're going to hope that Australia ends up picking the Hidden 3 for them later on in this match.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will, right? It was something we were talking about before the match was, obviously, I think this pool leaning a little more towards Australia in general, just with how pools have been this tournament. You lose that free mod 3 last week, which was a tapping stream pick, and this week you get both Hidden 3 in like a high BPM tapping, kind of like a 240 BPM tapping consistency pick with some density, and you also get Hard Rock 3 in Blue Zenith, right? So you take one tapping map out of the pool, you pretty much get 2 in return, so the pool here favoring, maybe not favoring Australia, but it leans more into Australia a little bit, just in comparison to what we've had in these previous pools. But this Hidden 1 from Canada is going to be, I think, one of their best picks in the pool. I think any pick you expect Canada to take convincingly in this pool, I would say it's probably this one.
And this is not your standard aim Hidden 1 by any means. This is flow aim tech. Some tricky sliders, lots of flow aim to catch players out, and some tricky linear patterns thrown in as well that have definitely claimed a few combos here. The ending is really brutal, so don't expect any massive comebacks into the ending. That would be miraculous. But these early combos are going to be massively important for both teams.
Yeah, when it's only a minute 51, right, you really start to get into dangerous territory with, you find one little misread in the middle of this map on a hidden tech pick, which is very easy to find misreads on and misaims on some with aim control. And all of a sudden, your score is gone, just missing once 50 seconds into the map. So with a map this short, combo is king. It's going to be everything. And we're going to see if anyone is going to find any trip-ups, but the rosters are going to be in the lobby ready to go. It's going to be Emrek, Secret Box, AKNZX, Sayo going up against Xylus, Zudi, Ryuke, and Cut Paper, the players we would expect from Canada in this lobby. Some of the performances from this Canadian roster on tech picks, on hidden tech in general, it's just been ridiculous, so I'm expecting probably a big score here from them.
Cut Paper last week, after his first map of the match, did not find any misses. Did find some misses in the first map this time around. We'll see if he can continue that trend. Of course, this pool is a little bit harder, it's safe to say.
Yeah. Here we go. Blink and you will miss this map, because we're already 1/8 through, and the map has not even started yet. No one finding any trip-ups on those early streams. I'd be worried if they did. here we go. The first missable stream right there in the map. No one missing on it as we get picked off into things here, into our tech patterns, high velocity sliders, cut patterns coming out. There goes AKNZX. There goes Secret Box. 2 FCs down for Australia, and Canada still holding onto the 4-way. There goes Sayo as well. And yeah, I mean, this is just looking like a DT1 looked like for Australia, but this time it is Canada's wheelhouse. This is a performance.
And make that 4 combos down for Australia as MREC finds the miss as well. Now it is 3 combos to 1 as Ryuke did trade it back. Xylus now finds the drop, so potentially an opening back into this one, but Zudi Cut Paper, they are doing what they do best on these hidden picks. They are so consistent, and we already have about a third of the map left to go. It's so short. A Secret Box continues to find misses, as does Sayo, and Cut Paper finds the miss, but Zudi's still holding. I think Canada is looking good to take this one and continue to win their own point. Make this one 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's already 560k in their favor. Even if all of the players were to reset, I think this is more than enough for Canada to take their pick. Australia just don't really have enough combo on the board to bring things back, but see if Zudi can close out the FC. All eyes on her right now. It's a final little portion of the map here. Cut Paper finds the break again at the end, but Zudi closing it out with the 98.3% FC. Very good stuff from her, and very good stuff from Team Canada. Not a single score under 500k.
A certified His Kitten FC on that hidden. And I think, Mavs, this match is going to get very interesting as we go into the later portions of the match, as these teams start to run out of this picks where you don't have the hiddens to go to, you don't have the DTs to go to, and the picks are a lot less obvious for both teams, whereas early on, we're going to see a couple maps that are a little bit more one-sided as these teams get their strongest maps out of the way.
Yep, and speaking of strongest maps, it's going to be DT3 here from Australia. To be expected from them, I think. This is a classic map, man. If you haven't been watching the matches this week, this is a classic map ranked in 2014, and it's going to be coming in here for Eastern Nightbird in the semifinals pool. AR 10.3, 263 BPM, definitely a speed check, quite a long one as well, but you've got a pretty long map to deal with in terms of a lot of this tapping, a lot of this speed, maybe a little bit of stamina coming into play with the repetitive tapping patterns, but primarily just your speed check.
Yeah. And notably, this map isn't a pure speed map, right? It is mostly that DT tech with some shorter 5 and 3 note bursts into the beginning. But you do have that one speed check in the middle of the map where I think there are 2 very dense, longer 263 BPM bursts. And with those 2 bursts, they're very tough to just double tap your way through. And so you do need to be able to hit those bursts at 263 BPM relatively comfortably, or it's just a guaranteed miss. And that's at the halfway point of the map, so worst place to miss if you do find it there, and that's going to advantage Australia very nicely as they certainly have the stronger speed roster on paper. We're going to see Ryuke come back in momentarily for Canada, likely along with Stoof and possibly Curtis.
For Australia here, you're expecting, of course, MREC to step into the lobby, probably Box, who's already sitting and waiting. Probably going to be joined by, I would say, Dummy and AKNZX, and there they are. As I say them, I summon them in, both in the bottom slots there, and MREC as well joining the lobby, but the expected lineups, I would say. Also worth mentioning for this pick, it is OD 10.4 with DT, which is, I mean, if you're going to be cheesing any of these patterns in this map, which I don't think any of these 8 players are, all very good speed players, you're going to be finding a lot of 100s. It's going to be difficult to keep the accuracy up. So that's something to keep a lookout for. Anyone on high accuracy on this map is definitely very comfortable in this skill set.
Yeah, highest accuracy we've seen so far over the weekend, 97%. Most people are 95 or lower. So I imagine we're going to see a couple high accuracies from your dedicated speed players in Ryuke, Xylus, Amrek, and potentially Doomy, but we're going to see quite a few low accuracies as well here.
Yeah, a lot of like 95 and lower, I think, is probably to be expected. Possibly Ekin at ZX as well might be able to put up a really high ac. Had some ridiculous accuracies on the DTs last week, like a 99.75% on DT1, which was disgusting. But here we go. As slowly we approach the start of the map, and here we go. First burst in, a couple 50s from vv1981315028 on that one, but no one finding misses. You can already see the accuracy taking a toll on pretty much every player in this lobby, besides Stoof, by the way, who's on accuracy I shall not mention, but that is pretty ridiculous. It's gone. Okay, I just cursed him.
You are not allowed to say his name again for the rest of the match. Here we go. This is the core of the map. There goes Stoof. Didn't have to say his name. He does find the first miss. There goes Xylus as well. So it's 2 FCs down for Canada. Australia once again holding on to 4-way FC early on in this map. But there's still 3/4 of the map to go. There's lots of time to find the break. And there goes Emrek, not the player you want to be missing for Australia. And so Canada's going to keep things close. There goes Secret Box now. And Canada are going to bring this one back as Stoof and Xylus both on recoveries.
Yeah, not what you want if you're Australia. 2 of their strongest players finding misses early, but it's still Dummy and AKNZX to hold, and they're not bad players to have holding on for your team if you are Australia. There goes Stoof again with another reset, and that is going to very slightly favor Australia, I think, or if not, keep things very even. No, I think Canada are taking it back just off accuracy here.
Yeah, it's big accuracy drops from Australia on that last dream pattern. But with all these bursts, look how big the combos are getting so quickly. We're halfway through the map. Players are already at 1,000 combo, which means if we do see any of the full combos drop off, the score lead is going to go back over in a heartbeat. And it is only a 15,000 difference right now. All fluctuations are just based off accuracy for the most part.
Oh no.
Anyone's game with a third of the map to go. We are into the break. The players know how close it is. The pressure is on. Anticipation builds as we get into the last tricky section of this map. Here we go.
That is an evil break, by the way, as we get into some sliders. A little bit of a more techie section, but nothing that's too demanding here. Everyone holding on, but no, there goes Xylus. It's not one of the big combos for Canada, but it is still one of the combos that matters. As you now can see, that lead is going to start rocketing towards Australia's side. The break is going to favor them, and they are still holding on to the 4 combos. Canada only holding on to the 3. But if we see one of these FCs drop from Dummy or AKNZX, it could be all that she wrote. They're both holding on strong though, and the recovery's going for them. Box and Emrek doing their best. I think it might just be enough for the Australians here, barring a collapse from the FCs. Dummy is down, but I don't think it will matter. I think that's going to be it for DT3. Australia taking their second pick of the match in a fairly close fashion. 120k on a DT pick where you have to take into consideration there's a big score multiplier. That is very, very close.
Damage has been done for Canada. They're not able to make the comeback. Australia is just so consistent on these DT picks. It's incredible that nobody found misses into the ending except Doomy at the very end. It is 3 FCs, AKNZX, Curtis, and Ryuk. Just incredible stuff from both teams. These are some crazy scores. And on top of that, some of the higher accuracies we've seen this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look at that accuracy from a Secret Box and Curtis, right? And even Stoof, all above 97. Curtis almost with the 98. That's the highest accuracy, I believe,
it is.
This entire weekend. So that's extremely good stuff. On a map that's OD 10.4, that is no joke. But great scores from both rosters there all around. Obviously, a couple FCs as well. But Australia barely taking it. I mean, this match so far has been, what? It's been 1 pick either way that's been like super convincing, and then 2 picks that have been extremely close. So it's looking a little shaky for both teams. A breakpoint is on the horizon. I can sense it at any moment. We'll have to see who the first to fall is, as it's Canada's pick. So it's going to be Australia's chance to shoot back, see if they can get a breakpoint on the board. And as these teams start to run out of maps, this match goes on longer and longer. Those chances for breakpoints are going to arise.
And it will be the Nomad 2 for Canada. Matt, should I let you try and pronounce this one?
Nah, I don't want to try it again. I just don't want to try it again.
Fair enough. It will be Tatang. Finger control, alt pick for Canada. There are lots of doubles, lots of rhythmic cut streams to watch out for. Of course, everybody on the Nomad. Cut paper going to be in here.
Yeah, I mean, you're expecting a very, very solid 4-man from Canada, and if that hidden one is anything to go off, I'd say this one is going to be favored towards them, but I wouldn't put Australia out of the picture. Finding an FC on a map like this in match is really, really difficult. Like, this kind of map is just so easy to miss almost anywhere. So a single FC from the side of Australia and a 4-way miss from Canada could be all that it takes for Australia to take a break point. It's definitely a scary one. So as teams get their rosters in the lobby here, expecting to see, obviously, MREC in for Australia. Unknown on who that fourth will be. I'm expecting probably JGLF, but we'll have to see as AKNZX steps on the roster here.
I do think JGLF would make a lot of sense. As we wait for the last Australian player to get into the lobby, these two teams have actually played twice before. Once in 2018, where Canada took it 6-5, and once last year, where Canada took it 6-3. So Canada has the head-to-red record for Australia. Let's see if they can keep it that way, or if Australia can get the revenge, as Secret Box does come in to fill out that Australian roster. And amazingly enough, as hard as this map is, we have seen 2 full combos on it already. Rectigon and Taquito. Probably 2 of the best ult players in the game. I'm not sure we're going to be seeing that repeated this time around.
Yeah, something we haven't mentioned too, I mean, the history between these two teams, right? Obviously, we've got an Australian caster and a Canadian caster here for the match, Australia versus Canada. So, of course, a little bit of bias swinging both ways. We're going to even things out, And I was versing Canada last year on this Australian roster. So, the boys are here to kind of put in the revenge for me, and I'm hoping they can do so. But here we are, no mod 2. Early on, Sio Box going to be finding resets, but this one is almost 3 minutes long, so not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things as we get into the first set of doubles. And this section, not really that difficult. It may look hard, but I'd say this section, missing on this one, it's definitely not the section you want to be missing on. These doubles are kind of free, to be honest. But as we get into those more awkward overlapping streams, that's when things are really going to pick up. And of course, those reverse sliders, something to watch out for. It's these patterns here. Sio finds the break for Australia. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to watch out for in this map as we now start to approach the first difficult section.
Yeah, we see a massive drop out of Ryuke as well, and that's the big thing with these patterns. There goes AKNZX as well as Zudi. It is so easy to note lock on these patterns. You miss the first 1 or 2 notes, and you're missing the entire pattern. Sio finds another drop as well as Zudi traded back, so it's 2 big combos to do. But a slight edge to Canada as Secret Box did find that early miss, and it's going to give them a 100,000 point lead, but this is a long one. They're not even halfway into the map, and there's plenty of time for the combos to recover and for some of these bigger combos to drop off. But easier section now is going to be great for Canada as AKNZX finds a miss on the slow section, and Canada just going to slowly push this lead forward.
Yes, about a 400 combo advantage for Canada, even more now with that break from Sio. MREC and a Secret Box do their best that they can to pull things back for Australia to try and find the first break point, and there's still room for it. We are only halfway through and we get into another difficult section. If Cut Paper, there goes Cut Paper, he finds the miss, he is down, and that is now chance for Australia to bring things back, still with almost 2 FCs intact. A Secret Box on the reverse choke, MREC holding the FC for the Australians, they take the lead, 30k already, and if they keep going, it's going to be a wrap.
Yeah, there's only a quarter of the map to go. It's only Zudi trying to fend them off with 500 combo. And it's just not enough for Canada. That score lead is scoring much too quickly. And unless we see those misses from MREC and Secret Box soon, it's just going to be the first break point for Australia. And we're going to need this to happen in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, and if it's going to happen anywhere, it is going to be on this section. This section is brutal. You've seen all throughout the map, many people unable to hold combos, but it's Xylus this time, who is the only one to find the break in the lobby. AKNZX as well, actually finding the break, excuse me. But MREC and Box, I mean, they're the ones you're looking at. They're the ones you're hoping hold if you're cheering for Australia, and they are going to do it for the Aussies. Already over 300k in the lead as we approach the ending here. Ridiculous scores from both of these players on Australia, man.
Our first break point of the match goes over to Australia as MREC secures the full combo. Absurd performance, and this is going to be a pivotal point in this match. If Australia can take their next pick, consolidate this break point, they could very well run away with this one. But if Canada can take the next break point right back, we're going to be all tied up again, and we're going to have a hard-fought battle for the rest of this match.
As you can see in the chat, Dummy is claiming to be the skin thief. I think perhaps a fraudulent claim, but we'll see. We'll see if he can put it into play here. I'd love to see him prove himself, because if I know Dummy and I know him well, he always misses on aim in maps like this. So I'm I'm curious to see if Dummy misses on a jump, on like a 4-star jump in this one, as to be expected from the man. But here we are. It is going to be skin thief and no mod 5. The speed, no mod for the week, and this one is, I mean, this is quite the step up from the no mod speed map last week, man. This is relentless 230 BPM death streams, and only the best of the best stamina players are going to get through this with high accuracy whatsoever.
Yeah, we have seen accuracies in shambles just across the board for most teams who have played this map so far. And of course, your dedicated speed players, Xylus and Ryuk, maybe even Curtis, who did look good on that last speed pick, should do alright for Canada. MREX, Secret Box on the side of Australia, but those lower accuracies for some of those fill players are going to start to matter a lot, and there is quite a bit of those, not super free, I wouldn't say it's quite 4-star, but easier a small aim test, and we'll see if that catches any of the players out.
Yeah, I mean, this Canadian roster, very, very strong on speed. We've seen even the qualifiers getting several, top 5 qualifier performances on speed, and that was without Xylus as well. So, like, this Canadian roster on speed is still extremely strong, but man, if you've ever seen a terrifying Australian squad on a map like this, it is this roster. This roster for Australia on Skin Thief is nightmare fuel, man. Dummy's Secret Box, AKNZX, MREC is just... that is on paper probably the strongest speed roster, and we've been seeing it all tournament. They've been so good on speed, and on a map like Skin Thief, you have to be quaking in your boots just a little bit if you're Canada.
Yep. And what's key here to me is that with how many speed picks there are in this pool, 2 of Canada's best performing players over the entire tournament, Cuppaper and Zudi, have been out of the lobby for most of the Australia picks. You really want these two to be playing those maps, but haven't had much of a chance so far, and we'll see if Australia can convert this breakpoint here. Skin Thief, classic speed map. I'm sure one that all these players have played before, and this one doesn't take long to get right into the speed.
Yeah, we are going to be kicking things off instantly with 230 BPM bursts, and yeah, like you said, it's not going to take long until we start seeing those longer bursts come in, and who is going to have the stamina to hold on is going to be the question. I think all of these players on paper probably do, but whether or not they're going to see any nerves in 20 is always, it's always something to look out for, always something to be expected. Early on, Curtis finding the miss, but everyone else in the lobby holding, and he's only about 80 combo behind the rest of the lobby, but here we go. Getting into the first death stream, everybody looking phenomenal so far. The accuracies across the board, almost everybody up and above 99.
I mean, this is just incredible stuff. These accuracies are not what you expect to see on a map like this. Just goes to show how good both of these two teams are at the speed. Is that nearly everyone actually everyone except for Curtis above 99. Curtis not too far away. Curtis finds another big miss. Look at the shakes on Curtis. Secret Box drops the accuracy but holds on to the combo, and that's going to be a huge lead for Australia as nobody trades it back.
Yeah, and when a Secret Box is the only one dropping accuracy for Australia on Skin Thief, that's when you start to worry a little bit for Canada, because that guy is nuts at death streams like this, and look at the rest of the roster just going. But Canada really are putting up their best performance right here, with 3 of their players also shredding this map. But what do you do against the 4-way from Australia over halfway through this map, man? Just the Skin Thief demons on this. That is a ridiculous 4-way.
Australia continue to be the speed demons of this World Cup, but Canada has window back into this. They're still holding on to 3 full combos, so if we see any misses from the Australian side, this one could go over in a heartbeat, but we are yet to see them. And Doomy misses on 4-star aim maps? How did you know?
Dummy misses on a reverse slider on nothing. How do I just call it? I just know Dummy does it every time. He just loves to do a little bit of trolling on his stream picks. Just misses on nothing. And there it is, but it's still the three-way for Australia up against the three-way for Canada. Canada with the slight advantage just because of this recovery from Curtis, but here we go. This is where real gods are made. Into the final jet stream of the map, and this one is just unrelenting as everyone is holding on. No one finding misses. A few accuracy drops for Canada, but it's looking good for Australia. The score lead going over to them even more just because of the accuracies. No one is missing on this section. What are we watching, iFlame? Everyone is hitting it. What is this performance? What the hell are we watching?
It's just absurd. Both teams with a triple FC. It all comes down to that fourth player. Unfortunately, Curtis about 100,000 points behind Doomy, and that will make the difference. The slow slider, that reverse slider, nearly cost Australia the point, but they hold on long enough and they consolidate the break point. Australia up 4-2 now, and Canada are in a very precarious spot.
It's just like, Dummy really just makes this narrative for himself. You can see in the chat, how come I missed in the aim section? He just always does it. And I never would have heard the end of it if he lost a point because of that either. But they do take it by the skin of their teeth, no pun intended. That was still very close. If you were to tell me Canada got, like a 3.16 million team score on that and lost, I would say that you're trolling me, because that was a ridiculous performance from both of those countries. But what do you do against the best speed roster in the tournament? This Australian team, man. Like, that is just ridiculous stuff.
But before this recent play of Skin Thief between Canada and Australia, there was a single FC on the map from Woodsea, with 6 teams having played the map. 1 FC. And now we've added 6 more FCs to the list between Canada and Australia. And it is now on Canada to find the next pick. They are not going to look towards the hidden 3. They do have the free mod 1 and the free mod 3 still open. I think those are going to be the next best options. More likely that free mod 1. And there it is. They're going back to the tried and true aim for Zudi and Xylus. Even cut paper can look good on this one.
Yeah, I think this is where they need to go. Canada, for sure. They've got free mod 1, they've got free mod 3. I think both of these picks are going to be really good for them. As we get in to this free mod 1 here, just coming in at almost 4 minutes, going to be your AR9, one of your AR9s in the free mod pool. And this one, a lot of awkward aim just in general throughout this map, awkward streams as well. And about 2/3 through this map, we're expecting there is like a really, really awkward jump section that just kind of keeps repeating itself, like massive hexagons across the screen. If you've seen the Hidden 2, the patterns are like sort of similar to those. But yeah, a section to look out for and see if any of these players find misses on it. But we're going to be getting rosters into the lobby, as you would expect. Cut paper in. It's going to be his kitten in, of course. My favorite name change of the year. Ryuke, yep. And then the Australians going to be getting their roster sorted. Box, JG Left, and AKNTX, of course. Expecting MREC in the first slot.
I think we're likely going to see Hidden Hard Rock for Zudi once again. But are we going to see the overmods on Australia? I was expecting overmods from Canada, but I wasn't expecting Australia to match them, and they did so pretty nicely last time around. We'll see if they try matching again, or if they just want to settle back into the 1 Hidden 1 Hard Rock.
Yeah, I mean, there's possibility on a map like this, right? CS 3.5. I think we saw it yesterday in the Germany-Russia match where they took a couple extra hard rocks, just like, it is that CS 3.5, right? So if you've got comfort hard rock players, they can definitely take it. At AR9, some players might feel less comfortable, on the node model hidden, just with, the density test on this one at AR9. CS 3.5, pretty easy to just take hard rock on, just slap it on if you're comfortable on hard rock. So possible that we will see an overmod there. MREC is not in the lobby. What?
There he is.
No, okay, he's in the lobby. I was about to say that might have been the first time in like 2 years or 3 years that MREC wasn't in for a map, but he's back.
Yeah, they're not ready to give up their lead quite that easily. They're gonna have MREC perma lobbied here. Yeah. Second best performer of everyone in the tournament last weekend. Second only to Cut Paper, who fortunately has not been finding quite the same consistency this time around. That is, to be fair, looking at that last weekend performance, that is near impossible to match. And here we go. We can see 2 Hard Rocks on the side of Australia, Sayo and a Secret Box. We'll see if Canada matches. We know Ryuk, I believe, is on that Hard Rock. And we're going to get attempt 2, as we do get a reload.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect Zudi as well to be on the hidden Hard Rocks, so should be fairly matched, I think, in general. Yeah, it is going to be actually, no, a full overmod here from Australia. The triple Hard Rock and the hidden mod's actually going to be even across the board just because Zudi has that hidden Hard Rock. It is going to be 4 mods either way, but that is quite the overmod from Australia. Kind of something you expect. On a CS 3.5 map, I'm not too surprised to see the triple Hard Rock. But yeah, I'm surprised not to see Sayo on the hidden Hard Rock. Generally a comfort hidden Hard Rock player, just going to be taking the normal Hard Rock on this one.
It is certainly mod advantage to Australia, though, because those Hard Rock multipliers are worth a little bit more than the hidden, so it will be just a slight edge there. But the big question is whether or not Australia can hold on to their combos, of course. There is a really brutal stream section about halfway through this map that could very well claim a lot of those Hard Rock combos, but it's tough on the streams as well. We already have seen some accuracy drops. I believe Cut Paper found a miss in the first 10 notes.
Yeah, here we go. Getting things kicked off with the first difficult section. Some of these aim patterns coming out. Cut Paper and Yip do find the breaks for Canada, but it's a Secret Box of trade, as now they've got the 3-way FC. Australia going to be taking the lead very slightly early on in this map as we approach the second quarter, but the 2FC is still intact here for Canada. Zudi and Ryuk doing their best to stave off this lead from the Australians, but you can see some of these difficult stream patterns, they do get a little bit awkward. They're kind of like spaced cut patterns and not catching anyone off guard as of yet.
The Canadian accuracy is going to keep them in this one for the time being, but the score lead will continue to grow as it's an extra full combo for Australia. And we have some of these tricky jump patterns. We have that really tough stream coming up momentarily, and we'll see how many players fall to that section.
There goes JGLF. One of the big combos for Australia is down as we start to approach the second halfway of this map. Some of these aim patterns now, really difficult linear jumps, but not catching anyone off guard thus far. And now these difficult streams, these cut streams, these really awkward angles and shapes, but everyone getting through it. No one finding a miss on that. Somehow, that is a complete and utter miracle as everyone holds on as they approach the final third of this map. But Cut Paper does find the break, as now here's the jump section I was talking about. No one on Australia missing. It's only Cut Paper still to find the break. Cut Paper again. 7 players hitting this. JGLF finds the miss, not the combo that matters for Australia. But there goes the Secret Box. That's a big one down. Traded by Ryuk, yep. So that is going to be 2 big combos to 2 big combos, but Australia do have the extra FC intact.
Yeah. MREC about 200 combo ahead of Yip, so Australia are going to hold on to this advantage. There are some more tricky jumps coming up and a quarter of the map to go. It is only a 100,000 point lead for Australia. There is time, but Ryuk finding another miss is not going to help the cause. They need one of those FCs to drop, and they need them to drop off soon, or they are going to find themselves giving up another breakpoint. Ryuk finding another miss. They need to stop finding the chain misses, need to find some recovery combo and into the ending. I don't know if there's time anymore. We need to see both FCs drop from Australia now, and the misses are just not coming, and that looks like another break point for Australia.
One of the rookies for the Australians here, Sayo, coming in and putting up a dominating performance on this free mod 1. And that's what you need from these rookies, performing admirably all tournament, and here he is to close things out for the Australians alongside MREC on the free mod 1 and taking the break point. 3.3 million from Australia on that is extremely good, and I don't think that is by any means an underperformance from Canada. That was just a really, really good play from Australia all round, man. 2 FCs and 2 supporting combos upwards of 500k is really insane stuff from them.
Yeah, very, very impressive from both teams. Zudi on the hidden Hard Rock FC, I believe. That is going to be the top score of the weekend so far.
Two
and you
100s
will.
on Zudi is pretty cracked on that, man. Like, just with Hard Rock in general, two 100s on a 4-minute map is just really crazy. But yeah, that's a really good score from Zudi.
I'm going to be very surprised if anyone beats that score this weekend. In Australia, they're on match point. They have the pick, and they still have options here. The DT4 is open, not a tapping DT. It is AR7, so I'm not sure they want to go for that, but it's the hidden 3. Canada has been the hidden team. Australia has been the tapping team, and we might find out what happens when those two worlds collide here. If they end up going for the hidden 3, they're going to take their time to think about this pick. They do not want to give Canada an avenue back into this match. And honestly, I think if you're Canada, it might be time to use that timeout. Take a moment to reset, get some water, take a deep breath, and just mentally reset yourself. Canada has been playing incredibly well on most of these maps, and Australia has just been better. Australia is going to have an absurd amount of #1 scores this weekend, and that can be really frustrating when you're not playing bad, the other team is just popping off hard. And there's the hidden 3 that we mentioned. This is the clash of the hidden versus the speed. Which one will prevail?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're gonna be hoping for Canada, man, but I'm rooting for the Aussies. I think this is definitely the speed pick that's least convincing for Australia, just because, like you said, the fact that this is kind of like your density test, but it's also got tapping, right? 240 BPM tapping, a lot of bursts pretty much throughout this entire map, but also your AR 9.2. It's fairly dense with how fast it is as well. A lot of notes on the screen at once just because it's 240 BPM, but here we go. Australia up 5-2, and of course, they were up 5-2 against Poland last week, and what happened there? It went to tiebreaker, so we'll see if they can close things out early this time around on their pick, but this is going to be one of our Osu originals for the week, so thank you very much to Sorry About My Face for this song. Also making the background herself for the map, and big thank you to Fergus as well for mapping this one for the Oz World Cup. But yeah, here we are in the hidden 3.
Just waiting for the roster slots to fill out, and the hidden pick into Canada is far from as strange as it seems on paper. This map is 240 BPM, speed tech, lots of buzz sliders here. There's going to be a challenge for Canada, and I think the big question for Canada is that 4th player, because Stoof is the go-to 4th speed player for Canada, but infamously does not play the hidden whatsoever. If you have Stoof in for hidden map, something has gone terribly wrong. We have got Zudi and Vesprit in instead, so Vesprit may actually switch out for Curtis here.
Yeah, but Australia's roster in the lobby, ready to go. Emrek, Dummy, Secret Box, AKNZX, the same roster you saw on Skin Thief, the same roster you're going to see on pretty much all their speed, but it is going to be Vesprit stepping back in. So yeah, like you mentioned, Canada is going to be the question with their 4th. Are they going to have the 4th player who's both comfortable on kind of 240 BPM tapping as well as hidden density? Of course, Zudi in the lobby, she's improved her speed immensely over the past couple years playing tournaments. Probably expected to be completely fine on something like this. I don't think it's going to be too tapping intensive for her. Definitely the least tapping intensive map we've seen Australia pick thus far in the match. But yeah, here we are into the hidden 3. It is also worth mentioning some perfect stacks in this map as well on AR 9.2 with hidden are going to be a challenge. If you're not well practiced on this one, you can absolutely find trip ups there.
Yep, Zudi, a far cry away from the pure aim player she once was. This one is 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Canada, with their backs against the wall, they haven't been able to keep up with the Australians' speed so far. If they are going to do it, now is the time to do so. This is the last chance, and it has been Vesprit to find the early miss, but Vesprit is going to get some recovery combo, and that early miss shouldn't matter too much. Ryuk now finding the early miss, and again, the early misses generally aren't too impactful. But with how consistent Australia has been, they have taken the lead and they have run with it. They have not found the misses, traded back later into the map to give Canada an opportunity back into this one. And so Canada already on the back foot, quarter of the way into the map.
4-way SS there from Australia at the break, by the way, and a Secret Box immediately fumbles it. Just on the first note, he fumbles it straight away. I love to see it from Box there, but there goes another FC for Canada. Vesprit is going to be finding a miss as now things are looking very good for the Australians as we're almost over a third of the way through. Besprit, unable to really hold much of a combo. Ryukei's trying to build that recovery, but I mean, Australia's still going with this 4-way. No, AKNZX finds, I think, a little bit of a misread there, finds a break. Still 3-way for Australia, and Canada going to do all that they can to bring things back with this 2-way. Dummies down, Fox is down. There it is, just Emrek for the Australians, but Xylus is there to trade. Emrek versus Zudinator, the two giants of this matchup, 1v1ing here. Zudi being supported by Ryukei is going to give a slight advantage to the Canadians.
Yeah, but they're going to need more misses than that, unfortunately. Oh, there goes Zudi! That could be it. Doomy trades it back, but it's still Emrek on the full combo. No one matching Ryukei, trying his best to keep up, but it's just not enough. And it is that fourth player that I talked about at the start of this map that is the concern for Canada. Vesprit just has not been able to keep up with Australia. The accuracy from this Australian roster is absurd as well. AKNZX on 99.81, Emrek on 99.7. And as Vesprit finds another miss, I think that seals it. And for the first time in OSU World Cup history, Australia will secure themselves a spot in the top 3.
I am completely and utterly elated right now, but let's save it for the end of this match as Australia is still going hard right now. They do find a triple reset, but Canada don't have too much combo to speak of. Ryukei has made the recovery. Wait a second. Okay, wait a second. Did we maybe speak too soon? Did we maybe speak too soon? Ryukei does have a combo. Zudi is building a recovery.
It's enough, though. It's going over so slowly.
There's nothing for Australia. There's a little tiny bit of the map left, 150k. I don't think it's going to be enough, but it is going to be pretty close. Ryukei still holding for the Canadians. Emrek finds another miss. Zudi is still going as well with the combo. It's going over to the Canadians, 70k. It's so close. Vesprit finds a reset, it's flickering.
Oh, Vesprit is out of the lobby.
I think that's it.
And it was not enough. 36,000. They nearly brought it back in the end, but Australia do secure themselves the point. They are going to win this one 6-2. And again, for the first time, we'll be securing a top 3 placement in the World Cup.
Yeah, and there it is. I was a bit worried I maybe spoke too soon. That was looking done and dusted. It was looking signed, sealed, and delivered, but Canada almost brought it back with Emrek finding a few misses in that ending. I am completely and utterly elated right now, iFlavors. Australia, I'm so proud of them, have managed to secure the winner's final spot, which is ridiculous to think about, man. I cannot believe this roster, they've come such a long way over the past couple years, and they've finally gotten their dream roster in the Aus World Cup. Here it is. Secret Box, CS2, known as AKNZX, Sayo, Dummy, JGLF, Emrek, O/Zintex, show up and they perform ridiculously well, mind you, performing even better than they did last week against Poland. Canada performing extremely well on a lot of these maps as well. Like you said it, a lot of number 2s, a lot of number 3s on these maps for the overall performance of the weekend, but Australia with number 1 performances across the board. They just looked extremely good in this match, and they're going to be going up against the winner of South Korea, Philippines in the upper bracket. I cannot believe that I'm saying this right now, iFlame.
Yep. I can hold my heartbreak long enough to give a huge congratulations to this Australian roster. And the exciting part for me for Australia is, yes, it is Emrek, but it is the rookies too. This is a pretty new, pretty fresh Australian roster, and so they've already gotten their best placement so far this year, and these rookies are going to be around for years to come. I think Australia has a very bright future ahead of them. Meanwhile, Canada, unfortunately, will be dropping down to the losers bracket, where they will face the losers of Germany-Chile. So a potential Canada-Germany rematch later on, unless Chile can find that win and get themselves into that next round. They did get their top 8 placement with the win earlier in tiebreaker over the UK, so they've gotten their best placement in a couple of years as well. And we have a couple more matches to go this weekend, notably Poland-USA. What do you think of that match, Mavs?
Yeah, look, Poland-USA in the lower bracket is definitely something to be here for, so make sure you're here later for that, because that is quite the matchup. And like I said at the start of this match, it's what we expected in this winner bracket. Everyone, pretty much 95+% of people, were expecting USA Poland in the upper bracket, but instead it was Australia Canada. So that match is going to be one to look out for. I don't know how to even begin calling that match, but if I had to give you my prediction, I think Poland's going to take it. But it is going to be a close match no matter what. And I just want to say one more time, a big congratulations to Australia finding their revenge for me against the Canadians there. And I mean, I don't even know who to shout out on the Australian roster. Who do you give props for? Who do you give props to for the ridiculous performance? Because every single player on that team just did phenomenal in that matchup. You obviously give your shout outs to MREC, carrying, I think, one of their picks or one or two of their picks throughout the overall course of that match. But I mean, the rest of the players just put up such good performances. The rookies, like you said, coming in and proving that they are a force to be reckoned with. That is just history made for Australia, and in a 6-2 fashion as well, man, is crazy to see.
Everybody on that team stepped up when it mattered, so another huge congratulations to Australia, who will place third at the worst, potentially second or first. Either of those placements would be massive for them. Our next match is going to be that USA Poland that we talked about, 15 UTC later today. I'll predict USA just to even things out between us. So stay tuned for that. But that will be it for us. Congratulations again to Australia. Thank you, Mavs, for commentating with me today. Guys, go get your banners. Show some support to both of these incredible teams in the Osu shop. Have a good rest of your day, night, or afternoon, and take care.